I'm Peter, but my friends call me Petruccio because my grandfather was Italian. My grandmother, who allegedly was a witch, died a few months ago. She was rich but left us nothing but her beloved cat. All her other stuff and property she signed away to a couple of orphanages. The cat, who we promised to take good care of, was huge, fluffy, and seemed to really dislike us. He wore a collar with a tiny pendant that my grandmother had put on him. The cat wasn't cute or nice. He avoided people and pooped everywhere. When we punished him for that, he pooped even more, and in places we could never find or expect it. Once, when I was trying to catch the cat to take him out of the house, he brushed past the ironing board and hid in the corner behind it. A large, heavy, and old iron was on that ironing board. Rumor has it that this iron had been brought home by my father in the 90s, when he proclaimed himself a stalker and made a few illegal trips to Chernobyl, the abandoned radioactive city in Ukraine. Well, that's not what I was gonna talk about. The iron was on the ironing board, and I, being furious about the cat, thought I could easily get him from the corner. I moved forward quickly, trying to catch the animal, but I was probably too big to fit under the board, and I kind of got stuck there. The cat looked horrified and surprised at the same time. I tried to get out and caused the board to move and shuffle. Of course, the last thing I was thinking about was the stupid iron on the board, which slid from the board and landed on my head. I passed out. When I regained consciousness, I had my cat's pendant in my hand. I must have grabbed him when, well, you remember. The cat was nowhere though. I didn't know how much time I had been unconscious, but when I looked back at my watch, I saw that it had stopped about 2 hours ago. It had to be the moment the iron fell on my head. I suddenly realized that I had to be at my university at least an hour ago. So I ate my sandwich, put the pendant into my pocket, and went out. There was a construction site on my way to the university. When I was passing it by, I noticed a man who looked lost. I felt that I should help him, so I gave him a shout and waved my hand to attract his attention. He saw me and started walking towards me when something exploded behind him. The man rushed over to me and started to thank me. He was shaking with fright and was obviously in shock, and so was I. The man kept telling me that I saved his life and that he was grateful. I calmed him down and went to uni, but the thought that it wasn't a coincidence stuck in my mind. When I arrived at university, my friends said the lecture had been canceled and we would be free for a while. I went to the cafe and sat at the table. I was going to order when I felt that a girl from my group had to enter the cafe. It was a weird feeling, but I decided to stay and wait. In a few minutes, she did walk into the cafe. I was shocked, but still thought it could be a coincidence. An hour later, when I was sitting in on my next class, I felt it again. I felt that the teacher would ask me a question, and I felt that I knew what the question would be. I opened the book, found the answer, and read it, just in case. To my surprise, as soon as I finished reading, the teacher asked me that very question. I couldn't believe it. Was it a gift? But where did it come from? Did that iron hit me that hard? Suddenly, it all came together. The weird iron from Chernobyl, the watch that stopped when I lost my consciousness, and my new feelings. When my father first brought that iron home, things started to happen. Weird things. My father claimed that he had been abducted by aliens. My mom started to attend yoga classes and then became a New Age movement member. I also felt that something was different. I could predict weather changes. I could predict small changes. It all started from that iron. So, what should I do? Should I follow in my grandmother's footsteps, help people, and live somewhere on the outskirts with cats? It wasn't what I wanted. These thoughts made my head spin, so I went home to have some sleep. I woke up the next morning thinking about how much I wanted to have biscuits with orange juice for breakfast. Imagine my surprise when I saw biscuits and orange juice on the kitchen table. I had my breakfast and went to visit a friend. On the way to his place, I decided to come and see a man who owed me some money and failed to return it for a few months now. For some reason, this time I was sure he would give me my money back. And here he was, handing me the whole sum and an extra 100. He said, "Sorry for the delay. I hope we'll still be friends." We shook hands and I went to my friend's place. Nothing happens by accident, I thought. I decided to check my new gift. When I was approaching my friend's house, in my mind, I pictured that he would present me his favorite Xbox, which I loved and wanted to have. When I finally arrived, I learned that my friend was going to move to another city with his parents, and that they couldn't take all the stuff with them. So he offered me to take his Xbox. It was incredible. I felt happy. I thought that my gift started to develop, and soon I might be able to not only predict the future, but also form and change it. I thought about endless possibilities that I had. I could get anything, all the money in the world. I could be the Almighty. I decided to do something I had dreamt about for a long time. Alice was the girl I was in love with. She was perfect, beautiful, slender, smart, charming, and arrogant. I never existed in her world. I was scared to talk to her because she would definitely turn me down. But now that I had power, she wouldn't be able to refuse to go on a date with me. I could convince her that she loved me. I was so excited that I completely forgot about the Xbox and my friend. I started looking for Alice. She was in a cafe with her friends. They were chatting and laughing. I came up to her. I was very confident. She stopped talking and looked at me. I said, "Alice, I want to be with you, today and forever. Let's go." A second later, they were all laughing at me. She replied, "I don't know who you are, but you're definitely not the man I'll pay attention to. Go away." I felt humiliated. I couldn't understand why my gift didn't work. I thought I could change reality. I walked around for a long time thinking about what had happened. I felt hungry, so I went to a cafe. I must have looked so miserable that a man from a table next to me sat in front of me. He said, "Once I was as miserable as you, and a man came up to me. He helped me to solve the problem that bothered me, and I feel that it is time for me to do the same for you. Tell me what happened." At first, I wanted to refuse, but his kind smile encouraged me. I told him everything. He wasn't surprised. "I am the right person to help you. I'm a compulsive gambler, and I managed to get rid of this addiction. The thing that has happened to you is the player's effect. When you win again and again, you start to believe that luck is on your side, but the chance of winning is always 50-50. I can congratulate you. You've had the longest run of happy coincidences. It's a rare thing. You don't have a gift." I felt better. I no longer had any responsibility towards humanity. I was an ordinary guy again. "What's that?" the man asked, looking at the pendant in my hands. I was holding my cat's pendant the whole time and I didn't even notice. "Oh, it's my cat's pendant." "Oh, I also have a cat. Can I look at it?" "No, you can take it, actually. My cat ran away after trying to kill me with an iron." I left the cafe. On the way home past an apartment block, in one of the windows, I saw the man I had met in the cafe, who was putting the pendant on my cat. I rushed over to them, but when I got there, both the man and the cat disappeared. I started to doubt again. What was that? This is just the beginning of my story. If you want to know what happened next, subscribe to our channel and click the like button. If there are enough likes, I'll understand that you want me to continue the story, and I will tell you who that man was.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly. I have a multiple children family. My mom takes care of the household and the kids, and my dad's a farmer. A hired worker, to be exact. We don't have a farm of our own. Yeah, well, I've wanted to be successful since childhood and to live without denying myself anything, and most importantly, helping my parents and family. One day, on the way home, I was walking in the park and I saw a well-dressed man who looked like a businessman. He sat next to me and started asking questions about school, family, and life in general. I told him that our family was poor, so I didn't have a chance to go to university, and that I'd been working after school. He said, "Apply to Harvard, I'm sure you'll be admitted," and left. I was left surprised. He was sure that I could get in. It's the first time I've heard that kind of opinion about myself. Of course, my parents said I was smart, but I always thought they were saying it in love, not sincerely. I got inspired and decided to give it a try. I set a goal: learn, and learn again. My grades weren't brilliant, and I had to improve them before the exams. Of course, it wasn't easy. I studied when my girlfriends were having fun at parties. I studied when the whole school was resting on winter holidays. A teacher who had moved from another city started helping me. She also claimed that I could get in. My parents would love to help, of course, but my dad's salary barely covered family expenses. It wasn't even enough for a plane ticket, so I kept quiet about Harvard. With the help of my teacher, I got full marks in all school examinations. I registered on the Harvard website and applied, attaching a short essay about my goals in life, and the application was approved. The time to take the admission exams has come, the most worrying moment. My teacher helped me buy plane tickets. There were a lot of applicants at Harvard. We filled out questionnaires and took tests, which lasted for 3 hours. It was very intense. and we talked to each other during the breaks to unwind. And then came the moment of truth. I was afraid that I couldn't get the score I needed, and I clenched my fist. But the most unexpected thing happened. When I opened the envelope with my last name on it, I read, "We regret to inform you that you haven't scored enough points to be admitted to the university, but you have the opportunity to apply next year." In what condition do you think I was in? For the first 2 or 3 days, I was like a ghost. Never left the room, never slept, never ate, but sat and cried. My teacher said, "It's not that much of a problem. We need to keep preparing for the next year's application. It's never too late to study, and it's necessary to apply to Harvard." I chilled out a little, calmed down. This year, I decided to help my dad on the farm. Since I already graduated, I had a lot of time. I was tuning up, and again I gathered my strength for the next marathon, when suddenly, a letter came. It was a letter from Harvard. I opened it in surprise and started reading. "Dear Kelly Griffin, we would like to apologize to you for the technical error, and we hurry to inform you that you have scored 2,400, which allows you to be admitted to our university. We are also pleased to inform you that you will be provided with an air ticket and will receive financial support for your tuition. We are waiting for your answer, no later than 10 working days." Yeah, I screamed like that. I cried with joy. My mother came running because of my screaming, and she was happy to hear the news. And my teacher said calmly, "I told you you could get into Harvard." And most amazingly, while I was studying at university, I saw the man from the park. He's a professor at Harvard, and he comes from my little town. If you enjoyed the video, like it and write a comment. Also, subscribe to our channel